Hello, YouTube. I seem to abandon you, but I promise that I didn't. I've just been going through a lot, and I've just been really trying my best to get through what I'm going through. And as you can see from the title of this video, God, I'm still homeless, okay? And I kind of put the title because I know people wanted an update from me. From my previous video, if you watched my previous video, I just pretty much propped up my phone like I am right now. And I just started speaking about my situation and what brought me, basically my origin story, and what brought me to homelessness. So if you haven't watched that, I'd highly suggest you check that out. But an update. So I don't really have many updates, but I'm gonna just let you know what I've learned so far and what I've experienced within this whole entire year of living in hotels, attempting to stay with people again, the spiritual side of it, the mental side of it, because maybe somebody is going through the same thing as me. And I want to make a quick disclaimer. I get this a lot whenever I would post on TikTok. I'm not currently on there. I just needed a really deep mental break from there because that was my main social media that I used. But it just became too much noise, and I needed to do some really deep identity searching in myself. And I felt like there was just too many voices and influences that I didn't need. So yeah, I'm not doing TikTok at the moment anymore. It's been a little bit over a week. And I'm just kind of trusting that God and life, my angels that are by my side are going to continue to put the right people in place to donate and help me while I'm still waiting for stable stuff to come together, living conditions, a car, different things like that. And excuse me if I stumble a little bit or if my thoughts are not all the way correct. I didn't really sleep that much last night, and also I'm really shocked that my mental health is anywhere somewhat stable and I'm able to articulate myself in any normal capacity because of what I go through and what I'm currently under, like the stress of everything in my life. That's honestly something that I thank God, because it could only be from God, that I divinely have been blessed with, I guess, that no matter what I go through, I don't look like what I've gone through. And that's kind of what I was about to say, but I kind of got sidetracked with TikTok, is that I used to get a lot of people that would tell me, you don't look homeless, right? And I'm here to tell you that humbly, as I've learned, there are many people around you or that you interact with every day that you have no idea are day to day barely making it to afford a hotel room every night like myself, or they're sleeping in their car. There's a lot of people that are sleeping on couches. They just haven't been able to get, a good job, or spiritually they feel this pull to be more nomadic and pursue their passions, which is pretty much my story, but also the fact that I haven't gotten an opportunity to be stable, to live somewhere safely. So that's why I feel like I've kind of been forced to be nomadic and forced to pursue my passions. So a little update now that I've rambled enough. I've learned a lot this whole entire year being without my own home. I say homeless, but I really consider everywhere I go as my home, But I use that title just to kind of give a general understanding of my situation. I have attempted to live with two different people this entire year that I thought were going to be safe, that I thought were going to be good offers and opportunities for me to get established, and I was greatly mistaken. And I'm not that surprised, because I feel like in this day and age, you can't really trust people, but on top of that, I feel like you can't really underestimate people. And I feel like you have to use your discernment, follow your gut, your intuition with everything, even if it doesn't make sense to you, but just trust it. And I call that God to me. I feel like we have that divine spirit, that Holy Spirit in all of us. But I feel like the more you are in the quiet, distraction free, you pray, you meditate, and you just follow that, I feel like the stronger it gets. And I'm a living testimony to it. And I think it's really incredible to me how, if it wasn't for my faith and ooh, hold on, I don't know why I just got emotional. Ooh, that struck a nerve. Okay. If it wasn't for my faith, I don't think I would have made it, to be honest with you. A lot of people don't believe that I'm homeless because I seem so joyous, and I just choose to try to present myself like nothing's wrong, and I choose to have faith even when I don't understand what's happening. And the last 4 months, guys, has been the most difficult of this entire year. Not just because I'm basically living off donations every day, and every day I don't know how I'm gonna make it or when something is gonna come through, or if today's a day that I'm gonna have to sleep outside. Like, that's a real thing that I go through every day. And just for reference, obviously I'm in a hotel right now, but I carry a backpack, and sometimes I get two, if I can afford a room, which thank God for the most part I've been able to. I get 2 rooms, or 2 beds, I'm sorry, because it's cheaper generally. I carry around a backpack and 2 luggages, okay? You can't really see the other one, but 2 luggages. So I carry those everywhere that I go, and I've had at least 3 or 4 different times this year where I had to go outside. I was in the lobby long enough. They got uncomfortable with just me being there, even though I wasn't bothering anyone, and they kicked me out. And it was in very unpredictable weather, and I sat outside. I put my hoodie on, like, this is my only hoodie that I have until further notice, and I just sobbed my eyes out. I sobbed my eyes out because I was like, God, I didn't do anything to deserve this, you know? No matter what I'm going through, even if I barely made it to be able to stay somewhere for the night, anytime I would bump into somebody, I would always make sure to put a smile on my face. I would always make sure to encourage them or be there for them if I saw somebody in need. If I saw anybody else that was hungry or was tired, I would try to help them, even though I'm in my situation. And I really think that this whole journey has really humbled the fuck out of me. I mean, I always had a good heart, and I felt like I was always pretty humble, but this whole journey has stripped me of everything. And I've learned so much about people, so much about myself, for the good and for the bad. I feel like I see that now that I'm on the other end of society. Most people cast out and look down on homeless people like myself, even though I don't look like it. I try my best every day to comb my hair, put on a little lip gloss, and call it a day, to just make myself feel better, you know? It's a miracle that I don't look like what I've gone through. It's a miracle that I'm not broken out in acne, and I'm not like, you know, I don't look like it. It's a miracle. And I think that's why a lot of people don't believe me, and also because I hold it together pretty well. But I've learned, unfortunately, that people are very heartless. I've shared in my previous video pretty much all the things that I've been through and what I've seen and encountered, and how people are so quick to say, oh, just get into a shelter or just go look for a church. And it's like, people don't get that that's not always a solution. People aren't always helpful. And unfortunately, even though I somewhat consider myself a Christian in a way, kinda, it's really sad because a lot of people that supposedly are what I somewhat call myself, there's a lot of hypocritical people, and a lot of people that will only help you conditionally. And unless you're going to their church, unless you're actively a member, unless you're at their shelter, unless all of these little requirements, they don't help you. And I've tried to apply it at every hotel that I've stayed in, anytime I've had to relocate, because they're sold out, because the prices get too high, because I was put in danger. So I've had to remove myself from certain hotels. But I mean, you'd be surprised how many people just don't want to help. And I choose, and I believe in my heart of hearts, that the reason why I'm still in this predicament is because there's maybe still more for me to learn. And I do know that I'm a very spiritual person, and I know God has shown me my purpose for the most part. I think one of the many purposes that I have on this earth is to encourage people. I'm a deep encourager no matter my situation, hence why I shared what I shared just a minute ago. Despite what I go through, I'm always there to encourage somebody. And every time I meet someone that I'm meant to really deeply connect with in hotels, in my Ubers, whatever, it's always someone who's in the middle of a transition, or who is about to take a leap of faith and contemplating on leaving their job, or just following what God has led them to do. And I'm always there to encourage them and to just simply say, hey, even though, I may not be stable right now necessarily, God has not had me sleep one day outside this entire year. And even if I have to wait in lobbies for hours and just sit still with my Bible, or just like listening to music and trying to relax and praying and wondering for guidance of what to do or how I'm going to get my next hotel, every single day without fail this entire year, minus about a month and some change because I stayed with somebody, like I said, in February. I try to make it work. Every single day, God has never left me without a shelter over my head. He has never left me somewhat without food in my stomach, even if it's not the amount or the food that I maybe wanted, but it was food. And I've healed so much within me, but I'm not gonna lie, you guys, I am so ready for my life to change. Just whenever I think that, okay, I've been here at this hotel, God's made a way for the next, couple days. So, usually I would live day to day, but sometimes I have enough donations that come in that'll help me for maybe 2 or 3 days at the most. So I'll be like, okay, I'm here for the next 3 days or so. Let me start looking for a job nearby, right? And I'll start applying anywhere that's walking distance. And next thing you know it's like the last day of my hotel stay, I'll try to extend if I get like another donation, and they'll be like, oh, I'm sorry, we're sold out. Oh, I'm sorry, the price went up like $100 more per night, or etc., etc. And I have to factor in like food and everything. So I've just always had to not be able to, if that makes sense. I've had to just refrain from getting a job because of the lack of stability of being in one place. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I think I expressed this in my last video, that I kind of felt in my spirit like this whole year that God's been telling me, don't work, just focus on your social medias, your passions, and whenever I lead you to take a break because you need it to rest and rejuvenate. in order for me to download and give you clarity and just you resting, basically. And then when I lead you, get back on there. And so I've just been focusing on that this whole year. And then on TikTok, I want to say it was like in May or June, I started to feel this inclining to start doing live. So I've been doing TikTok for the most part. So I've been doing lives on TikTok, just talking to people and stuff like that. And the next thing you know, donations started coming through the new people that met me through my live, right? And I started doing lives about July of this year. And I want to say at the end of September, somewhere in September, I felt led to pretty much just like have a mental break because things were getting really tough. I was really exhausted. I was waiting in lobbies almost every single day, not knowing when my blessing was going to come in for me to be able to extend. And I have no family, like I mentioned in the last video. I have no family. I have no friends. I don't have a way for me to stay with somebody. So this is my only choice, and shelters have all these requirements. So I haven't met all of those requirements, or they cater to women with children. They cater to recovering addicts, so on and so forth. And I don't fit under any of those categories. That, or it's like first come, first serve in the morning, and I carry all of my things and I have to, get an Uber, go over there, and if they're already out, I'm kind of out of luck, and I just carried all my things. And so it's just also spending money to get an Uber over there, and it's just everything is money, right? And so I started doing TikTok lives, and to make a long story short, I went on a break on September, and after I went on my little hiatus in September, I went back on refreshed. I felt renewed. I'm like, okay, I'm going to keep doing this. And, I started a Twitch as well, and I try to get into that. Even though I knew nothing about the Twitch world, I still don't. But I just felt led strongly to just make a Twitch account. What else happened? After that, I pretty much just started doing TikTok lives, Twitch for a little bit, and then I just felt inclined to do videos again. And so I want to say it was in October is when I started doing videos again. And yeah, I've been doing TikTok ever since then. TikTok has been really the only thing that I've been consistent in, that I have felt inclined to do. But honestly, there's no more income on TikTok as far as what I've seen so far for me this entire year. They have shadow banned me plenty of times. I have tried to put out content and barely get the viewers sometimes, and I barely get engagement. I definitely don't get paid anymore. It's been many months since that. Lives, only if people send me gifts do I get paid on there directly, but it's a very rare thing. So I say this to say that TikTok, as the Bible says with Elijah, my brook has dried there, and I don't really know what's next. I'm coming into 2026 very, very hopeful that things are changing for me, that things are changing for everybody, because I know this year has been hell for many people. And that's another thing too, that's part of my update. I just feel like this whole year has been extremely difficult for me, and I don't know why. I know some reasons why, but I don't know the whole thing. And I think a lot of people are really suffering in that unknowing feeling. And a lot of people have been tested with their faith, with their finances especially, have been affected in their mental health, not to mention the whole effect with food stamps and the government and everything just being super chaotic. I think we're all just kind of going through hell right now, and I'm really praying us into heaven this following year. And I don't know, guys. I just really pray for my mental health. I pray for my strength, because I just really desire more than anything that God miraculously sends me a destiny helper, someone to help me financially. I get a donation, I start a GoFundMe maybe, I don't know, so I can get a van. I've been having desires of getting a van or an RV and like living in that, but obviously that takes money, and I'm barely making it with shelter and with food every day. So like that's beyond what I am capable of at the very moment. I don't know. Either that, or he just gives me an opportunity to just stay somewhere with someone. Someone opens their heart for me to stay with them, and I'm able to get a job from there, or just brainstorm and think about what I'm going to do next. But as of now, this is pretty much all I got. And I want to give y'all an update. I felt many times like I wanted to, but I just knew it wasn't time yet. But for some reason today, it just feels like time. And I wanted to let everybody know that if you've been going through it, I've been going through it too. And I'm trying my best to maneuver this really unknown place in my life, and also the fact that I have stepped down from TikTok and I feel like that really isn't working for me anymore. I don't know how God's going to continue to make a way for me, because I'm not on there to ask people for help anymore, and I just feel in my soul that I shouldn't. So I'm following my intuition and just doing this and having faith for every day to be provided for. So I thank you guys for listening to me. If you made it this far, I hope you did. And I hope you took something from this and your faith was fed in any way, shape, or form, and that you don't give up, because just know I'm going through it too. And you don't have to look like what you've been going through. If you can, and if you feel led to, I'd really appreciate any donations. They all go towards my hotel rooms. They all go towards my food. That's pretty much it. I don't spend on, makeup or clothes or anything. Like I said, it's my only hoodie. I would like to get one more hoodie, but beggars can't be choosers. So we'll just see what happens. But thank you guys so much. And I will leave everything, I think my Cash App, PayPal, things like that, in the description or the caption, or however you say it, whatever YouTube people say. And I'm praying for you. I'm praying for us. Let's make it into 2026 hopeful. And I'll see you in the next video.